Hello, welcome back to the channel. So, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I start doing something and it just evolves into a whole lot of something. So Saturday was fairly hot and I didn't intend on doing heavy gardening, but I wanted to get something done and of course recorded for today's video because Sunday was supposed to rain. So I came out here and I started laying out some more cardboard, as you saw in the opening montage. And then I added some compost, and then I was like, well, I've got all these plants that need to be planted out, so yeah, here we are. So now the entire front 60 feet of the flower garden is filled with compost. Now everywhere I planted is anywhere from 4 to 6 inches deep. And again, as I've mentioned before in prior videos, I'd use the no dig method, and a lot of this cardboard will be rotted away and gone within a few months. The heat and humidity down here really just helps everything decay and rot down that much faster, which is a good thing in the case of the cardboard. But the cardboard will be there long enough to suppress the weeds and the grass and kill them all back. And again, when they die, all that goes into adding to the nutrition of the soil. The compost I have on top, of course, breaks down over time. I will be adding more, as I have with many of my other beds. And as I plant in over the years, I, of course, will add compost to any low spots or anything like that. As I got down towards the middle and towards the end, I only put down about 1 inch of compost. Now I'm not going to plant into that inch. That's simply to hold down the cardboard and to hold in the moisture to allow the cardboard to continue to rot. As I go to plant into each of those sections or each of those areas down the row, I'll then add a lot more compost to, again, give me that good planting depth of anywhere from 4 to 6 inches. If I intend on planting anything like a, let's say a gallon-sized shrub, I cut through the cardboard and I dig into the ground a bit and then I plant. I have no intentions of doing that this year, but we'll see what next year and the following years hold. What I have been doing is along the back row, I've been putting in the golden ticket privets. They're all very small, but it grows pretty quickly. So I'm hoping by the end of this summer, we'll have maybe a good foot and a half of growth on each of the plants, which would be fantastic. I need a whole lot more golden ticket privet cuttings. I actually still have a bunch on the bench, but they're not quite the size yet. Maybe towards the fall, they'll be large enough and I can plant them out then. So I'm going to give you a brief overview of what I did plant here. So I continued with my foxglove plantings. I kind of intermixed some of the foxglove colors, mainly because I was just too tired and too hot. So we have rusty foxgloves and white foxgloves, and I think there's an apricot peach or something along here. You won't see those flowers until next year. Again, experienced gardeners, you know this. It's my first year planting. This is the first year of these foxgloves being planted. So more than likely no flowers this year. Definitely next year, if they all survive. And it'll just look spectacular. When I do my spring garden tour, which I'll probably do in the next few weeks, you'll see some of maybe the foxgloves that have already come up this year that were planted out last year. In the front over here, I planted some blue Victory salvia. I don't know how they're going to do here with the shade because this area right here is pretty shady throughout most of the day. It's a cloudy day today, but normally they get a lot of morning sun and then they'll get afternoon sun, but we'll have to wait and see. Over here, I planted a penstemon. Again, don't know how it's going to do here, but I had it. It was in a pot. It needed to go into the ground. There it is. Next to that, I planted some African daisy pole stars. Not sure again how they're going to do here. We will wait and see. There are some plants that I've planted in the general area. For instance, over in the corner, I've planted snapdragons. They're not happy there. They're growing, but they're not happy. And I know they're not happy because last summer they were reaching for the sun, so they were all leaning over. And as they wake up this spring, they're going to be doing the same exact thing. They're going to be reaching for that sun, trying to get away from the shade. So this week I intend on digging them up and moving them to sunnier spots, sunnier locations, so they'll be happier. And then I still have some foxgloves left over. I'll be planting them where the snapdragons were. And that works out, getting rid of the last of my foxglove seedlings, and it'll make the snapdragons happier. Continuing down the row over here, I have some cherry brandy rudbeckia. Now we're getting some of the sunnier location of the bed. It does get afternoon shade for a few hours, but it gets quite a bit of morning sun and it gets that afternoon sun. So we'll wait and see. If they do well, fantastic. If they don't do well, then I wind up moving them probably next spring or over the winter, something like that. Right now I have no other plans for the rest of the bed at the moment, but I'll probably wind up planting out many of those annuals like the zinnias that I've grown and probably a few other things. I still have all of this bed space to fill and all of the bed space over there to fill. So my goal this year is to try to get the cardboard down, get some compost on top. It doesn't have to be terribly thick, just enough to hold the cardboard down so it can block the sun, let the weeds, etc. rot down. And as I plant into various areas, I will again be adding much more compost, giving me a good planting depth for many of the plants. And then over the course of the next few years, now that these beds are established, I will be filling in the beds more and more and more. Now my brain is always going and I'm already thinking about various plants that I have, plants that I need to divide and where I'm going to be putting some of them. I have three, I believe it's three sunshine ligustrums. They didn't do so well where they were over in the orchard. I dug them up this year, put them into pots over the winter or late winter, early spring, and they're doing quite well over in the veg garden in their temporary containers. They're recovering, they're putting on new growth. This is fantastic, but I don't want to put them back out in the orchard. And one of the things I'm thinking is that I want to bring my dahlia beds, which are here behind me, right out to about this point here. So what I'm thinking is I'll put the three sunshine ligustrums right in here to act as a border between the dahlia beds, or the dahlia corner we'll call it, and the rest of the flower beds. So there's plants to go out, but there aren't enough plants this year to fill all of the beds. But as I go along, I'll just continue to do that. I'll just continue to keep adding plants and filling those spaces. And next year I'll grow more plants to fill in more spaces. And then, like I said, there'll be plants to pull up, divide, and that'll be used to fill spaces. And who knows, I may wind up digging into my pockets this year and hitting the nursery and maybe picking up a few more plants. Last year they were doing some clearance plants at the end of the season, and I picked up quite a few different shrubs, and I think I got a couple of rose bushes and a few other things for like $5 each. It was a good day. Now I've been so busy planting out all of the various flowers and trying to make room and trying to get stuff out of the greenhouse and onto the potting table and make room on the potting table for the stuff coming out of the greenhouse, that I've sort of neglected the vegetable garden here. We're well past our last freeze, and I have planted up some radish and I have planted up onions, but I haven't done anything with my in-ground beds. So the plan this week is to pull the weed fabric back, clean up this space, get up all these bricks and stones that are holding the weed fabric down, and get my beds organized, because I like to have different little sections with walkways, and I'll show you guys all of that when I do it. But want to get this squared away, want to get these beds uncovered and starting to get ready for the year. And I want to start planting, and I have tomatoes that need to go out. I have basil that I'm going to plant with tomatoes. They're going to go in the in-ground beds this year, something I've never done before, which is going to be pretty exciting. I've always grown my tomatoes in raised beds, and I'll talk more about that when I do that. I also want to start getting sunflowers in. Now I have a ton of sunflower seeds that I want to use up, and I think what I'm going to start doing, and you guys let me know your thoughts below, but I think what I'm going to do is plant out maybe 1 or 2 varieties now. So we're still in April. Maybe in early to mid-May, I'll plant out another 1 or 2 varieties. And then maybe in June, I'll plant out another 1 or 2 varieties. This way there's almost a succession, words are hard, of sunflowers throughout the entire summer. But in my brain, this is what I'm thinking. And again, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, or if you have suggestions or thoughts about the matter, please leave them below in the comments. But I need to get all this done. So that's the plan for this week. And who knows what else will come up during the course of the week that I'll wind up showing you guys. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, click that bell icon to be notified of when I do post a new video. Sophie here would much appreciate it. Thank you to all the new subscribers who have subscribed to the channel. Please tell your friends, families, loved ones, grumpy old guy across the street. Feel free to share these videos across all your social media platforms. And check out all the links below. You guys know the drill. I think that's going to wrap it up for today. We're going to catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.